Verse of the day, Isaiah 9:2. The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Those who dwelt in the land of the shadow of death, upon them a light has shined. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Clean Reads podcast. I'm your host, Izzy, and today I'm going to be reviewing Alexandra Moody's two books, Rival Darling and Sweet Heartbreak. Now, I originally came across Alexandra Moody's books while looking on Pinterest for clean romance books or clean books in general. So I was looking on Pinterest and I saw that that this book, Rival Darling, was on there, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And so I decided to read it. I think it was in February. I think my dad picked it out, so thank you, Dad, for picking out that book. And then I saw, and I know Alexandra Moody is well known for Sweet Heartbreak as well. And Rival Darling is a newer book published not too long ago. And the second book in the Darling series is coming out June 23rd or 29th or something like that. And I'm so excited. I cannot wait to read it. But, so yeah, I came across these books and I thought this would be a perfect example of good books and bad books by the same exact author. So let's get into it. So I'll start off with, when someone says, do you want the worst or the best news first, I usually pick the worst news first, because I like getting the unfun stuff over with. And since I DNF'd this one, it'll be very quickly. Sweet Heartbreak was the one I DNF'd, and let me tell you why. So when I found this book, I read Rival Darling, and I was curious to see what other books by Alexandra Moody are there. Then I saw that there was Sweet Heartbreak, and I thought, I've seen Ashley and Kaylee reading it. She really liked it. I think she gave it like a 5-star or something like that. And I was very willing to try it out. I know it's not an enemies to lovers. I think it's a friends to lovers, I think. And it's in a boarding school, a bunch of rich socialites. I love reading that kind of, like, setting where it's like the rich people fall in love with the poor, and like, not poor, but like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of like that. Here, let me read the book description, and you'll see kind of why I picked this book as one of the books I've read in March. Popular, powerful, filthy rich. Noah Hastings is everything I'm not. Our worlds would never have collided, but when my long-lost father reappears, my life is flipped upside down. It turns out he's ridiculously wealthy, and without warning me, plucks me from my simple life and throws me into a world of excess. He's sending me to the most elite school in the country, where money and status mean everything. He gives me only one rule while I'm there. Stay away from Noah Hastings. I keep thinking it's Hastings. Anyway, it should be a simple request. Noah is the king of Weybridge Academy, the heir to an empire, and a serial heartbreaker. I'm just the new girl who grew up waiting tables. I don't fit into Noah's world, and he could never be a part of mine. There's more to this boy than I expected, though, and he seems to draw me just as much as I am to him. But it's not only our differences that stand between us. It's the secrets we keep. Prepare, and then it goes on to like prepare for a swinging book by Alexandra Moody. So it sounds interesting, and when I start reading the book, we follow I'm so sorry. If I forget the main characters' names, it's not because I didn't like the book. Not even close to that. It's because I have like a short memory span. It's like, oh man, I, I just forget really easily. Oh, Isabel. That's what it was, because that's my name. Now I remember. The reason why I remember that is because, my parents made some funny jokes about me falling in love with Noah Hastings. But anyway, so it starts out with Isabel waiting tables at her mother's restaurant in, I want to say, a Southern California setting where it's not exactly high end and a little bit more rundown, but popular people still go there. Like, it's a local cafe she works at with her mom. And her mom owns it. It's her dream to own this cafe. And she works and helps out and everything. And then one day she has to go to her to meet her dad for the first time. And she's 17. I think she's either 16 or 17. And she does not want to meet her father. She keeps, one thing that I will say about this book is that it was very crass. So she kept using crude terms to basically not describe, but like reference her father as having her without being married. I will say that much. I will not go further. But she just says it very crassly. And she does not want to meet her dad. Her mom insists, and she ends up going, thinking that she'll be back in the next day after she takes the bus. So she gets Ubered to this mansion that's incredibly, you could just tell they can have money. And I love Alexandra Moody's books because you can just picture where they're at. You can just picture where they are in the setting. And I just love that part about her books. And it's one of those beautiful country homes that's tucked away, but still absolutely magnificent. Anyway, we're not talking about houses though here. We're talking about the book itself. Anyway, so she goes to her dad's house, apparently, that she finds out actively there that he's extremely wealthy. She originally thought that he works at that house for the man who owns it, but no, he's the one that owns it. And so she goes and she goes in, meets a butler. The butler takes her to her dad's office, and he explains to her that you are now going to this extremely incredible academy, and then you'll go to college, but you have to do these things. You are my heir. You're my sole heir. I have no other children, and you will do this. And she's like, I'm not going to do this. My mom's not going to approve. But apparently her mom already said yes. For Isabel has been wanting to go to college, but gave up on that dream to go because her mom is tight on money and they just can't afford it. And she's basically given up on that dream. But when she meets her dad, it's basically like, oh, here's all this money. You can go to all these things that you've been wanting to go do. And she's conflicted. And she ends up having to go. She has to go for her mother and everything. And to make her happy. And also for her father. Even though she doesn't approve fully of it. So she gets there, she meets a few girls, and they basically like make friends, and she gets introduced kind of to Noah Hastings, as he's like far away, like in a distant corner in her mind to where he's out of reach. She can look at him, but just he's not there. And so that's all I got to as far as reading it. I don't know when I stopped reading it. I think I stopped reading it at the 30% mark. And you'll hear why I DNF'd it. And I was really hesitant to. Obviously, one, it was the crass language, and another was the inappropriate clothing, that and suggestive clothing that that she was describing, and just like a top that would woo all the boys at a party. There's also underage drinking a lot. There's even like an instance in the book right before I stopped reading it where one of the girls was already drunk before the party, before school started, and she was so drunk. She was just fully like not well. She broke glass, just stuff like that. And they're high schoolers that are doing this as well. And I just don't like the drinking, but anyway. So there was that. There's underage drinking, the inappropriate clothes. It felt more lustful. Obviously, I didn't get to a relationship yet, but it felt lustful. I've noticed that with a few, like her other book as well. It did feel a little bit lustful, but it felt more like a relationship with the other one. And the only thing I really liked about the Sweet Heartbreak, besides the well-written way she wrote the settings, is that there were no really that many bad words. That was the other thing I liked about it. It was nice to not hear the S word or the A word, just like things like that I don't like reading about. And I do appreciate it when there is little to none in books, especially contemporary ones, since those are the ones usually that have spice and everything. Also with, I think Alexandra Moody's books, I don't think all of them, but most of them are supposed to be clean romances, which I'm so happy about, because then you and I can read them without having to worry about them going into anything, going behind a door. And speaking of doors, let's open another one, with it being Rival Darling by another book by Alexandra Moody. So with this one, you follow this girl Violet, and I still remember the name. Now, this book was a 4.5, maybe a 5-star book that I read in February, and it was, oh my goodness, that was probably my favorite book I've read that time. That and The Green Ember kind of compete, but with Rival Darling, that was so much fun. I loved it. So, you follow this girl named Violet who's 17. She's going to this high school. And here, let me just read the book description, because I'm not really good at explaining book scenes and everything. She's got one rule: never date a jock. He'll do whatever it takes to break it. When 17-year-old Violet is left heartbroken by the captain of her school's ice hockey team, she vows to never date a jock again. But in an attempt to prove she's moved on, she turns to the most unlikely person, her ex's big rival, the notorious captain of the Ransom Devils. Reed Darling is gorgeous, mysterious, and intimidating, both on and off the ice. Wild rumors constantly circulate about him, and the only thing people love to talk about more than his hockey skills are his exploits as a ruthless heartbreaker and a bad boy. Who better to serve as Violet's fake boyfriend, right? But until her ex gets the message. But despite the intense rivalry between the two schools and Reed's infamous reputation, Violet soon starts to wonder if there's more to him than the gossip suggests, and while she tries her best to control their, quote, relationship with a list of strict guidelines, Reed has other ideas. He's set his sights on winning her over and determining to show Violet he's not the guy everyone thinks he is. She should have known better than to make the deal with the devil, because this one is going to break all her rules. Oh man, this one was a good book. This one was a really good book. Oh man. I recommend it to you. I recommend it to anyone, but with a word of caution, and here are the cons of this book. And I know they're pretty big cons, but I enjoyed the book so much. It was so good. So one of the things that was a con in here and a trigger was there's a lot of cussing. There's a lot of cussing. But one of the things I liked about the book is it was hilarious. There was jokes on every turn. I haven't had that many books that made me laugh out loud. I'm kind of more serious and quiet when I read books. It could be funny, or it could be fantasy, or a historical fiction, or romance. I've just been more of a quiet reader when it comes to my emotions when reading. But oh my goodness. This book had me laughing out loud in bursts of laughter every time I would read it. Every time. But every time there was something funny in here, there would be a cuss word almost right after it, or a few sentences after in the same paragraph. I did not like that at all. I think they might have used the A word. They definitely used the S word. Reed, at one point, used the finger on one of his brothers. They do the OMG, which I don't like reading that in books or hearing it, just because it says the Lord's name in vain. Also, there was inappropriate apparel that some of the girls were wearing. And this was towards the end of the book that really this happened, to where Violet was telling her cousin that she lives with, that she doesn't want to borrow, do you hear the plane? I don't have a soundproof studio, this is just my bedroom. But, she was talking with her cousin that she doesn't want to borrow anything again from her, because last time she did, she ended up borrowing a skirt that had her bottom sticking out. Yeah, I did not like reading about that, and that's one of the things that's in there. There's probably other quote revealing dresses or clothes in there as well. There was also underage drinking. I don't know what it is with underage drinking. That's with both of her books, and I don't know if it's with all of her books, but it's with this one too. And I did like how I don't think Violet drank, because she was the driver and she refused to drink. Oh, as well with Isabel in Sweet Heartbreak. I really liked that as well. How she, even though she wasn't a driver, she did not want to drink. She has had like a sip of beer before, she mentions, but there wasn't anything. Anyway, but there was underage drinking at a bonfire, and also at 2 parties, I think, as well, to where it's one of the plot, but I'm not gonna say it, but her ex-boyfriends gets drunk a little bit, and nothing bad happens, but something happens in there that happens with the plot and everything, and makes it so that both her and the captain break up. One of the things that I skipped over because I didn't know it was gonna happen, is that Violet went to Reed's house at one point, and they went and his room and he shut the door, even though they have a family rule to keep doors open when having girlfriends or boyfriends in their room. And I say boyfriend because Reed has a sister. And he closes the door, and they kind of get like close on the bed, like sitting on the bed though, like sitting up straight, like not laying down or anything. And they were about to kiss, I think. And then one of the brothers like come in and says, "Hey, dinner's ready." So that's one of the things I felt really uncomfortable and really didn't like that part. I was considering of even DNFing it at that point, but I kept going, and yeah. Another thing is that the mom and dad had Violet through unmarried means, which is another thing that has happened in 2 of her books so far. Like if it's already happened and it's in the past, I'm not affected as much as when it's like you're seeing it happen right now in present time. I don't know. I prefer if it is there at all, have it be in the past and not the present. And it's not described, it's just a fact. Like, oh, my mom and dad got pregnant. Like, this is the book. My mom and dad got pregnant while in college, and then he broke up with her, and also the mom isn't there for Violet at all. She's in Paris and is more of a neglecting parent as well as her dad. So those are the cons. Although the pros is like, it was very funny. Some of the jokes are just so funny, and I loved it. I loved the characters. Oh my goodness, I loved Violet. I thought like I could really connect with her. With Reed, I really liked Reed. I loved Reed, actually. As far as book boyfriends go, oh man, he is perfect. I loved him. Although he could not drink, but you know what? Oh, I don't think he drank at the bonfire though either. So that's a good sign. I think he was a driver too. But oh my goodness, I loved Reed. Anyway, I also loved Violet's cousin and friend. They were funny. They were hilarious when it came to the banter. Reed's brothers, oh my goodness, I loved them, and I cannot wait to read about them as soon as the next book comes out, which is I think on Grayson, Reed's twin brother. And I loved how it was a clean romance, that there was no spice in it. Bravo, Alexandra Moody. Oh my goodness, high praise from me. I loved that. I didn't have to worry about like anything bad or suspicious gonna happen. That made my day, and I will continue to read your books because of that. Thank you so much, Alexandra Moody, I will say. And I'll give her a shout out, even though she may not listen to this. I will give her a shout out that even though some of the books that I've read by her, like the 2 that I have read, has some things in there that I don't fully approve of, I am so happy that she is writing these clean romance books, and I thank you so much for making them funny and enjoyable. I really enjoy reading about them, and thank you so much. I hope that, and I thank you for listening, for those who are listening, for listening to me this long rant about these 2 books. And even though one of them I did DNF, doesn't mean I will DNF them forever. I just feel like I may be a little bit younger for these. The age rating, I would say, for Sweet Heartbreak, I don't give an age rating because I DNF'd it. If I finish reading the book at some point, maybe it'll be in a few months, maybe it'll be in a year or 2. But I won't rate it right now. But Rival Darling, I would say probably 14 plus, maybe even 15. I would say 15 and up. Because I I have a friend who is 13, I think going on 14 this year. And I would not recommend this to her just because of the crassness, and I don't think she would be ready for it. But I think this is great for a 15 or 16-year-old and up, and I don't think there was an age limit to this one as far as how old you have to be for reading Ravel Darling. It is hilarious, and I think you should read it. Thank you so much for listening, and please not only like and subscribe, but there is an event coming up on my podcast that if we can get to 100 subscribers by my birthday, which is at the end of May, I will be giving one of my subscribers, that means one of you will be getting a free book and bookmark. A random one that's brand new, and you don't have to pay for anything. You just have to like and subscribe, maybe even comment if you've read these books, and if you have any book ideas I should be giving out, please comment down below. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful Sunday or whatever day you listen to this to. May God bless you for the rest of this day. Bye.